So today, the Supreme Court dismissed the so-called emoluments cases against Donald Trump. The lawsuits that were brought because Donald Trump was unconstitutionally profiting off the presidency. You know, we're going to talk about that, but don't despair, because this just reinforces the need for a presidential crimes commission, a Trump crimes commission. And now we'll simply need to add emoluments to the agenda. Why? Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So the Supreme Court just dismissed the emoluments cases, the lawsuits against Donald Trump, because he had been unconstitutionally profiting from foreign governments, foreign entities, based on his position as president. Here's how NBC News reported the headline today. Supreme Court dismisses challenges to Trump's business profits. And here's how Josh Gerstein of Politico reported it out in part. The Supreme Court has effectively shut down two lawsuits alleging that former President Donald Trump was violating the Constitution by profiting from his public office. The announcement by the Supreme Court may indicate that the justices are looking to put the Trump era behind them and are not eager to wade into disputes about Trump's personal business affairs. Now, what are emoluments? It's a 25-cent word, right? But emoluments are simply, quote, a salary, fee, or profit from employment or office. And if we want to boil that down to Trump speak, it's profiting from your office. Now, can a president accept emoluments, gifts, money, things of value from foreign governments, from foreign states? The answer would be no. And here is how the emoluments clause of the Constitution can be summed up. A president can't receive gifts or emoluments from foreign states without the consent of Congress. And the whole point of the emoluments clause, the prohibition against a president taking gifts, emoluments, things of value from foreign states, is to guard against the corrupting influence of foreign governments. Now, here comes one of the most upsetting parts about today's Supreme Court decision throwing out the lawsuits against Donald Trump. The Supreme Court said the reason it was throwing out these lawsuits was because so much time had passed and Donald Trump was no longer in office. So the issue was moot. There was nothing to decide because Donald Trump was no longer president. Now stick with me here, folks. The attorneys general from Maryland, from the District of Columbia, a citizens organization, CREW, which I think is the Citizens for Responsible Ethics in Washington, they all brought these lawsuits against Donald Trump for engaging in unconstitutional activity, violating the emoluments clause of the Constitution. And these claims were litigated in the lower courts, and the lower courts refused to throw these cases out, in essence saying, no, these are valid lawsuits and should proceed through the system. So what did Donald Trump's lawyers do? Filed appeal after appeal and sought delay after delay, appeal, delay, appeal. And when it finally got up to the Supreme Court, well, Donald Trump just meandered away from the Oval Office down to Mar-a-Lago, and he's no longer president. So the Supreme Court said it is therefore moot. There's been so much delay, he's not president anymore. Okay, now, here is the absolute worst part of the whole thing. The Supreme Court did not have to throw these cases out as moot. Okay, stick with me for a minute. We're going to go to law school. We're going to go to Civ Pro class, civil procedure, which frankly I was not crazy about. That's why I did 30 years as a prosecutor, not a civil litigator. But there is this principle set out by the Supreme Court itself that would have allowed the Supreme Court to decide this case instead of throwing it out as moot. You ready for this? I'm going to read a short passage from something called the SCOTUS blog, the Supreme Court of the United States blog, which kind of helps boil down and decipher concepts regarding the Superior Court, case law, procedure, and that sort of thing. And I can't say it any better than I read it on the SCOTUS blog. So stick with me for a minute. Quote, "The Supreme Court has carved out an exception for cases that are capable of repetition, yet evading review. In other words, if the issue may arise again and will often or always face timing challenges, the federal courts should not dismiss such cases for mootness and may continue to hear the litigation." I couldn't have put it any better myself. The moment I heard the Supreme Court threw these cases out as moot because too much time had passed and Donald Trump was no longer the president, I immediately thought back to civil procedure. Capable of repetition, yet evading review. And that's what this was. The Supreme Court did not have to and should not have thrown these cases out as moot because they're clearly capable of repetition. And the only reason they are evading review is because Donald Trump built so much delay into the process that the Supreme Court didn't get to it in time. So yes, the whole thing is infuriating, but it's okay, folks. It's okay. Because what this highlights is the need for a presidential crimes commission. Congressman Eric Swalwell, not so long ago, announced via tweet that we need to have a presidential crimes commission. Here's what he said in part. "I don't say this lightly. When we escape this Trump hell, America needs a presidential crimes commission. It should be made up of independent prosecutors who look at those who enabled a corrupt president." And you know, folks, a couple of months ago, I actually had the good fortune to be on a panel that was organized by and headed up by Congressman Swalwell. He was nice enough to invite me to be one of the panel members. The panel he called the Justice League, and we talked about these very issues. And I was talking with Congressman Swalwell, and I said, "Congressman, I know that you have called expressly for a presidential crimes commission." I said, "I have been calling it the Trump Crimes Commission. You're more diplomatic, you're more politic, if you will, than I am. But, Congressman, when you call it the Presidential Crimes Commission, I think we all know which president you're referring to." And I'm with Congressman Swalwell, and others have called for it. We have to have a Presidential Crimes Commission. We have to have a Trump Crimes Commission for what Donald Trump and all of his criminal associates, aiders and abettors, co-conspirators, accessories, criminal enablers, for what they've put we the people through for the past 4 years. And now, when we have a Presidential Crimes Commission, a Trump Crimes Commission, well, emoluments will also be on the agenda. Why? You know why. Because justice matters. And as always, folks, thank you for tuning into these daily videos. If you'd like to more formally support our all-volunteer efforts and our content, you can go over to patreon.com. You can sign up to become a patron, and if you do, I'll send you some Team Justice stickers and a personal handwritten note of thanks. You can also find me over on Facebook, Justice Matters with Glenn Kirshner, and as always on Twitter all day and night, trying to answer your legal questions as best I can. On Twitter, it's at Glenn Kirshner 2. So as always, folks, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.